Hello everybody, it's Coach B again, and with Shane Miller, he's the office head chief of
CrossFit 819, chief cook and bottle washer, that's what my wife calls me. Anyway, so it is
the season again, and everyone has the question in mind, should I do the open?
So basically, of course you should do the open. Come on, it's the open, you gotta do the open, right? Wait, do you actually do CrossFit? Because that's an important question. If the answer is no, why not? Well, you should do CrossFit, but if you don't actually do CrossFit, you shouldn't do the open, because doing the open is actually a test of your ability to perform what you do in class when you train. And trying to push yourself in that, that's how it's generally not a good idea. Sorry to crush your soul and your games aspirations, folks. Now, if you do actually do CrossFit, of course, bro, I'm going to the games. So you're gonna do the open.
If you're going to do the open, two brackets. Is it your first time and you're that baby doing his first open or her first open? Or you've been here, done that, bro?
So basically, if it's your first time, all right, you want to ignore the clock. Because the purpose for you is to get through it uninjured. Have fun. Don't be trying to beat someone else or push yourself beyond your capacity. It's your first time. You're just getting your feet wet.
And then embrace embarrassment. What we mean by that, listen, don't shy away from a heavy weight or a difficult movement as long as you've asked your coach and they advised you that yes, you can take a try on that workout. Just go in, do your best, try to reach your limit, and this is how next year you will benchmark your performance with the year before.
Okay, so don't hold back, but be safe, okay? The last thing that you want to do is get injured on your first open. That's a good way to, sometimes be like, okay, well, now I'm not going to do CrossFit anymore. We don't want that. We want you to be like, that was awesome. What a great experience. I'm coming back again. So push it, but be safe.
Judge to get better sounds a bit off, but what we mean by that is you may want to take part of this event by taking the judge course and helping out a friend or members in your box, in your gym, to be their judge. And so there's the judge certification or judge course on the CrossFit.com site. You take the movements, you know the standards, and this is the best way for you to know how to actually do the movements in the right way.
Because what's going to happen is that you may be squatting down and you think you're below parallel as an example, but when you've taken that course, man, they are going to be nailing you if you're not exact. So it's going to really help you to really fully understand it. And finally, you just got to be proud of what you do, because you're going to do the best you can possibly do, and you cannot expect to be doing better than what your training has prepared you for.
Exactly. So, at the end of your workout, you need to ask yourself, have I prepared well for this? And am I proud of my performance?
Have fun, guys. That's the most important thing. Now,
all right.
So if you're not this guy,
if you're been here, done that type of guy or girl, here are our advices, which also apply for you guys doing this for the first time. So mobility.
So if you've been training for any number of years, whether it's 5 years, 1 year, 10 years, and you're going to do the open, you're probably no stranger to a lot of soreness, to a lot of stiffness. Basically, when you do the mobility before a workout, if you're doing dynamic mobilization and you're not able to get deep enough into a squat, you're going to possibly want to do some static stretching. Now, static stretching will often make you a little bit weaker. However, and you think that that's not good for right before a competition. However, if you are only able to get your depth that's needed for a rep to count by doing static stretching first, then you should do static stretching first. That's going to be really important. Go ahead, Batter.
Before we move on from mobility, so some people ask, do they mobilize just right before and just right after the workout, or do they do it before a day?
If you've not been doing mobilization and stretching all along, doing it just before a workout's not going to do a lot. It'll help a little bit, but ideally you've been doing it daily or at least a few times a week. So certainly the day before, an hour before, 10 minutes before, it all helps. It's all about getting the nervous system to relax a little bit to allow your muscles to get into the range of motion that's needed.
Yeah. I personally find that, for example, if I know the workout has a squat clean, a deep squat, I do 5 to 10 minutes mobilization to my weak areas on that morning of the day of the workout, and even the night before. It does me really well. Now, the second thought that we want to tackle is the workouts, planning and executing. So when we do planning of the workout,
basically when you plan, if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. Okay, so make sure that you've talked to your coach. Make sure that your coach has said that, you know, this is probably what you should do, or he asks you, what do you think you should do? There's going to be a big difference between how you approach a 5 or 7 minute WOD, that's like more like a sprint, versus a 20-minute chipper. Okay, you may have a plan, and there's a lot of different things that, you know, moving on to executing, there's a lot of different things that can happen. If your plan is, I'm going to go out at this pace, and you have a certain expectation of what's going to follow, but then all of a sudden you see somebody else who you thought would not be ahead of you, and all of a sudden they're ahead of you, it's going to be a big mistake to just say screw your plan and just try to chase that person. So you have to make sure that you execute your plan and not just drop it no matter what. Other things can happen, such as dropping your weight or dropping a dumbbell.
Exactly.
Slipping.
Not being able to do 3-ring muscle ups where on a regular day you're able to. So you only control what you're able to control at the moment. Always remember, high achievers in workouts of the fast exercise kind of fitness are people who approach workouts in a smart way. So you know how to pace, you know what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths. You have to play around these.
You got to leave your ego behind.
Oh, definitely. And the last portion, which is a big one, a very important one, people neglect it, but it's a
big pillar of CrossFit.
Big pillar of CrossFit. Nutrition. What and when, and the difference between competition day versus non-competition day. We're calling it competition day the day where you do the open workout, and non-competition day the days around that week. So what about what and when?
Well, actually, one of the things I was going to say is there is a big difference between competition day in terms of nutrition for an actual competition where you have multiple events within like a 3 or 4 hour period, versus just the day where you're doing the open. The day where you're doing the open,
it's just one workout.
Yeah, it's just like a workout. Just make sure that the previous day, 24-hour period, you've gotten all the calories that you need, all the protein you need. That's kind of like the critical parts. If it's a day where you actually have a lot of events, it's a fair bit more complicated.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that on another day.
Yeah, nice.
In terms of what you would actually do. Before
so general guidelines and advice, you know, you may want to tone it down a bit on the sugar and on the alcohol. Make sure you're taking in the good kind of carbs and proteins, like carbs like white rice, sweet potato, oats.
Doritos?
Nope.
No Doritos?
Protein, good sources in your fridge, like eggs, steak, beef, fish, chicken. I love natural peanut butter. It's a good source of protein and fats. When it comes to what and when, also general advice, before your workout, by 1 to 3 hours, make sure you have a good meal. And then the difference between comp days and non-comp days, when you do on the days that you do the workout, make sure you're getting more carbs just to replenish the muscle and liver glycogen, which is the form of sugar per se that the body stores it in the body. And then you lower a bit the fats, because the fats are harder to digest, so some people find it hard to keep the fats in the middle of their workouts. Now, when it comes to non-comp day, we would want to increase a bit the fats. Why? Because they help us in cell recovery and regeneration. And then make sure you increase your recovery time. What do we mean by recovery time? Stretching, mobilization, mobility, sleeping, and foam rolling and all that other stuff that your coaches at CrossFit 819 advise you to do.
One final thing, if you've never done it before, there's no wrong way to do it, but meditating and visualizing and kind of mentally rehearsing your workouts that you have planned for the open, it's a very valuable tool. Just the fact that you would sit quietly and just focus on your breathing alone has tremendous benefits to your nervous system, your mental state, and I can almost guarantee that anybody who does that, who seriously sits down, even if it's just 20 minutes, at some point in the 24 hours before you have a competition, it's going to pay dividends for sure.
Yeah, that's the stuff that champions do. Finally, as always, we would love it if you would subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so that you get notified whenever we get
New videos.
new videos every
a lot,
week.
guys.
All right?
Check it out.
As always,
See you next time.
peace
Good
out.
luck at the open.
We out.